Hi guys. Okay, today we are going to make granny squares. Granny squares are Granny squares are traditionally a crochet thing, but they are really easy to do on your smaller size round loom, and really quick to do as well. You will need the usual stuff: your smallest round loom, your big chunky plastic needle, your hook, scissors, and absolutely any yarn you want. This is a really good way actually to use leftover yarn, half balls. Once you've made the granny squares, you can make absolutely anything you want out of them. Traditional ones, blankets and throws, but literally anything you can put together using these. They're really simple. Okay, we're going to start by taking a basic slip knot and hooking it over. Now, on this project, we need to do something which is called a drawstring cast on. Bear with me on this. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Okay, we're going to start off by hooking the yarn behind a peg, then in front of one, behind, in front, behind, in front. You see how this is going? Keep going all the way around. There we go. Now, all we're going to do is take the yarn, wrap it all the way around, and we're just going to tuck it behind that first peg, or last peg really, for now. Okay, hold it in place. As you can see, some of the pegs have the yarn over twice, some once. What we're going to do is we are just going to hook it over only on the ones that have it around them twice. Okay. And that's pretty much is it. That is a very simple drawstring cast on. So if you hear anybody talking about one in other videos, that's what it means. It's really handy actually. If you look at it from the top, as you can see, you get this sort of crisscross pattern between all the pegs. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, you see how we left that, we took that one behind just to keep it out of the way. We're going to bring that in front now, so it's included, if you like. Then what we're going to do is we're going to E-wrap all the way around the loom, every peg. And then you're just going to knit all of them. Wrap this around here to keep it in place while we go around, and just knit over all of them. Now you need to do 3 rows of completely E-wrapping and knitting every peg. So finish this one and then do another 2, and then I will come back to you. Okay, I have now knitted my 3 rows. So we've done a drawstring cast on and then 3 full rows with E-wrap. Okay, now what we're going to do is from your first peg, we're counting this as first and this one as last. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to count 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 4th peg I am going to take the stitch off and I'm going to pop it back one, so back onto number 3. Okay, and I'm going to follow this pattern all the way around. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to count out loud, but I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. This is why it's important you have a standard small size loom, because otherwise the numbers won't divide up properly. I'm just going to push those down. I'm also just going to unhook that because it'll start to pull. Yeah, we don't really need it there anymore. It'll hold in by itself absolutely fine. Just going to pull it through into the center. There we go. Okay, now for the next 3 rows, it's all in threes this, it's really easy to remember. The next 3 rows we are going to A-wrap and knit only the pegs which already or which still have stitches on them. Okay, so we're going to wrap these 3. That one doesn't have a stitch on it, so we're going to miss it out. Wrap the next 3, miss out the empty one, A-wrap the next 3, miss out the empty one, A-wrap the next 3. You can see it's quite simple. This one out. And we're just going to hook it around the back of the empty one to hold it in place. Now I know what you're thinking. Some of the pegs have 2 stitches, have sort of 3 stitches on in total now. That's absolutely fine. Just knit the bottom 2 as if they were 1. Okay, so you just lift these over. And you need to do this, as I said, for 3 rows. So you're going to finish this one and do another 2, only wrapping and knitting the pegs that already have stitches on. Okay, we're going to ignore these ones, ignore the empty ones for 3 rows. Okay, so you do that and I'll meet you back here when we're at that stage. Okay, we've now done 3 rows of knit 3, skip 1. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. So we've done a total of 6 rows, drawstring cast on, 3 rows of E-wrap all the way around and knit everyone, and 3 rows of knit 3, skip 1. Yeah. Now what we're going to do, don't worry, it's gotten as complicated as it's going to get. These are really, really simple. A good project for kids as well because they can finish each one really quickly and they like short projects. So, okay, now what we're going to do is E-wrap every single peg again. So I'm going to go all the way around. Now, what you will notice, just wrap that around there to keep it in place, is that some of the pegs, i.e. the ones we skipped, only have 1 stitch on. That's fine. For the first row, we're going to ignore it and leave it alone. So, just going to knit the ones with 2 on. Now, on the next row, you won't have that problem because they will all have 2 stitches on when you do the next set of A-wrap. So what you're going to do is you are going to knit over this row and then you're going to do another 2 rows of completely A-wrapped all the way around, knitting every single peg. Okay, so I will let you go on with that and then meet you back here when we're at that stage. Okay, so we've now done 3 rows of complete A-wrap. So drawstring cast on, 3 rows full A-wrap, 3 rows of knit 3, skip 1, and then another 3 rows of total A-wrap. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're pretty much done. We're just going to take it off the loom. Now this is possibly my favourite part of these ones, just this bit. I'm just going to push this down to keep it steady on the loom while we sort this out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find our bit where we cast on, and you're just going to pull it. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. That's why it's called a drawstring cast on. Hey. I'm going to take this, pop it through. And if you look at your piece, you will still have a small sort of hole in the centre there. So we're going to go, see it? We're going to go through there. Sometimes they come out a little bigger, that's fine. And we're just going to securely tie the end off here. And everybody has their own way of doing this. Nice and tight. Then we're going to feed it through a few stitches just along the inside. And clip that off fairly close. There we go. As you can see, you've got this sort of almost a spider's web, but you've got these 3 spokes. You can use these either way around. I like this side the best, but it's up to you. Now, we're going to do a very simple cast off. You can use whatever cast off technique you like. To be honest, I use the really simple one of this. The reason I'm wrapping this round twice to get a measurement is because if you're making granny squares, if you leave a nice long tail on them, then you've already got your making up thread sort of there and sorted. Okay. So we're just going to take this and we're going to go to our first one, down and through. Like I say, if you prefer another method of cast off, you can, but this is just really easy and simple. Try not to get tangled. And down and through and all the way around like this, and just keep going round and round until you're back. You don't have to hook it back over if it goes to the outside. I just do because I like them all to be the same, but it's not massively detrimental to the piece if you don't. And just keep going round and round until you're back at the first one. Okay, so now we're back at that peg, last peg, down and through, and then we're just going to tie this into a knot. Again, whatever method of doing it you want to do. Like I say, I know everyone has their own little ways of... Mine probably isn't the most efficient, to be honest, but never mind. It works. It holds it tight. I haven't had one unravel on us yet, and that's all you really want. You're making a mess of this. The yarn can be quite tricky to work with by this stage because it sort of half unravels itself while you've been twisting it in and out. So just going to take that off of there. And now we can just flick it off of the loom. Everyone panics a little bit at this stage because it feels as if it's really loose, like the thread's pulling really loose when you're taking it off the loom. Don't panic. It's fine. It's meant to be like that. There we go. I'm just going to give it a bit of a stretch. And that there, it looks very round, and it is because it's come off round loom, but if you line this up, so you have, see you've got sort of 6 spokes there, if you like. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you've got one there, and 2 coming off to the side. Yeah. All you do is between those spokes on the edges, you've got little sort of half knots where we were skipping and then recasting on. So all you do to get this into a square is you line up on the 2 side spokes, the top and bottom outermost spokes. Yeah. And then if you count the stitches in between, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corner, and then the same on all the other sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corner. And that makes up your granny square. You can use chunkier yarn if you want to have them a bit thicker. I like them quite lacy. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you with these is instead of making granny squares, something I like to do because I just think it's a little bit different. You can still use the squares if you want, if that's what you're after. If you want to do something a little bit different, you can make granny hexagons. Now, this is what I like doing. They look like honeycomb and they're really cool. If you're going to do this, what I would suggest you do is go to a search engine and search hexagonal graph paper, like this. This one is from printablepaper.net. And as you can see, I've been plotting out some shawl patterns. This one is, I'm going to try and make a little sort of funky cardigan jacket out of them. It just lets you put it down if you're like me and you need to see it before you start sewing. It's a really easy way to do it, and you can put numbers on so you know exactly how many squares you need. Okay, hexagons is there in this case. Now I'm just going to show you how to attach these, because some people, I know, take it for granted that everyone knows how to make pieces up, and that's not always the case. So this is the right side, so we always work on the wrong side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking my, normally I leave these overnight before I stitch them. It just allows the wool to sort of tension itself up, and if you find any stitches are slightly uneven, you tend to find by leaving it overnight or even running it through the wash, they sort the tensioning out themselves. So black probably wasn't the best colour to do with this. What we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and work on the wrong side to do. Now what I'm going to do is, as you can see there, I've got one of those middle bits, one of those little bits that we got from skipping every 4th one and then coming back on. And what I need to do is I need to find the matching one on here. So I'm going to run down from that corner and find the matching one. With this, you always use these little sort of peggy half rows, the ones we skipped, to match everything up. So that's my starting point, and then I simply match it stitch for stitch around the outside. So put the 2 stitches together and through. Don't pull these too tight. And then the next stitch and together. You're literally looking for the little loops of the stitches along the edge of your project. And this will keep them together nice and neatly. And the next one. I'm making this look harder than it is because I'm doing it around a camera, when you can pull it right up close and look yourself. Trust me, it is easier than I'm making it look. Through. Now we've got back down to our little sort of half a one. There you see. So you've got the sort of spokes, if you like, the 6 spokes, and then you've got the little bit in the middle. Now that is our indication that that side of the hexagon is done, so we want to run this into the corner. Yeah. Or onto, you will find the corners join with 3. Okay, so I'm going to run it through my bit, and then I'm going to look down and I'm going to find the little half bit on there, which I can see, which is also attached to the little half bit on the black one next to it, and we're going to run that through. Then we're just going to pull that loose. And then we're going to do the same along these 3 sides. So we always use that little break where we cast on and off as a marker point when we're doing hexagons, okay? So just going to keep going along and down the other 2 sides, just matching our stitches up. And the next stitch is there, and on this one it's there. This is a really fun thing to do, granny squares, whether you use them as square or as the hexagons like this, are great projects to do if you've got kids or a class, because you can have everyone making them up. It's a good family project. You can have everyone making them up and then stitch them all together in one big sort of shawl or blanket. Now we're back down to our half stitch, so we're going to go into, this one's funny, this one looks like it's been pulled over, but it's just there, I can see it. And there we go. And again, you want it, I'm just going to catch the black one because I didn't, there we go. You don't want them too tight, you just keep going around. Looks like a flower when you're at this stage. You can see these ones haven't been sewn along the sides yet. These ones have. This is the start of a project. I'm going to attempt to make a cardigan with them, I think, rather than just keep making throws and blankets. We'll see how that works out. Okay, and as I say, you literally just keep going by matching the stitches on the end. So there is my edge stitch. And where have you gone? There you are. See, this is a lot harder around a camera than it is just sat curled up in front of the TV making these things. And that one. And then we're back down to our funny little halfway ones, our little corner markers, which we conveniently knitted into the project. Great when that happens, isn't it? And then we're going to just tie this corner off for now. Go through. Again, just put a small knot in there. And tighten it up. Okay, and then if you flip that around the right side, you can see how these things start to take shape, and as they're pulled out they will take, as you can see from the center one, even though these ones aren't joined. You have this lovely sort of little honeycomb pattern that goes on, and like I say, you can make blankets, throws, shawls, you know, get your graph paper out, be creative. You can make anything you want.